Welcome to SwiftGet. This is 5th episode of macOS Development Complete course. If you haven't watched my first 4 episodes, please go through those. I have provided their link in my video description. After this episode, we're gonna complete 3 hours of level 1, and if you have watched all 5 episodes, you will be eligible to apply for a macOS Development Completion Certificate which is of level 1 by registering through our website. Upcoming episodes will be of kind level 2 macOS development. Learn deeper about macOS apps with the game and other frameworks. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe it to get upcoming videos. Now, in this episode, we're gonna learn about how to make a browser app like a Safari in macOS. As you can see on the screen, what we are expecting at the end of these videos, we have a browser, and if I need to search for a URL like apple.com, I can go to that directly. I can make it extend it much more bigger. Yeah, I can go to watch iPhone. I can even go back to the browser. It's similar like a Safari icon. I have made a same like a browser app which is for macOS. So let's start doing it. I'm searching for my Xcode in my system. Open it and create a new project which is of Xcode project, and I have here a template to choose, so I'm using here macOS with an application, so click that next, and I'm gonna name the app as browser app, and language will be Swift, and user interface will be of kind Storyboard I'm using here. And yeah, we'll go head over to next, and I'm creating my project inside my iOS project folder. We will head to main.storyboard. So here, as you can see on the scene, you have a window controller with the view controller stuffs, pretty nice. And click on this window controller and go to this add object library. You can find a stuff which is called toolbar, and if I click and drag it over here, see the difference. So if you click on any of this part, there will be a toolbar item allowed, which means so we can custom the toolbar item. So you just simply need to click that anywhere, this pop-up will come over, and I can even click or customize whatever toolbar which I need in this app. So absolutely these colors and fonts and print I'm not going to use. So what I'm trying to do is click this print and take it over here, drag it over here, so it will disappear from our toolbar. Similar like fonts, I'm dragging it over here and click done. Then what I'm going to do is click on this toolbar and go to this object library and searching for a segment control which is for left, and go forward and back. So I'm just dragging it over. If you just drag it over here, it won't happen anything. So click on the object library, come back to segment control and drag it over here. Nice. Then I'm going to add another object which is of text field. So I'm typing for a text field and dragging it over inside this section. So what this actually does is it's a customized which is for flexible space between the left and the right. So I'm going to bring this segment control and this text field in the right of the window. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just clicking it over here and I'm dropping it over here. Yeah, and the next one is the custom view, which is for a text field. I'm dropping it over here. Pretty nice. And then what I'm trying to do is click in this custom view. As you can see on the left or right side, there are some stuffs we can adjust for this custom. So inside this view controller, if you click this and select this textured square segment, we can find options here in order to customize the segments for two or three whatever levels. So I have here segments 3, so I'm going to change it as 2 because I'm going to use only 2 segments in this, in the segment 0 and segment 1. So in segment 0, what I'm trying to put an image which is of kind go backward, which means go backward is a template or a image you can find in this from default from Apple. So I'm selecting this. See the difference? And then in segment 1, I can click that and go to the image section and go for NS forward. NS go forward. Yeah. Then what I'm trying to do is next is custom view inside our text field as well. So I'm going to give here a placeholder which is for let's say placeholder text some URL, search URL here. It's a placeholder where we can search the URLs inside. Let's click done. Then we need a new file to open here. Go to this left section and search for an select for a new file, and which is of kind Coco class, and click next. And here it's a subclass of I'm searching for NS window controller because I'm going to create a class which is for window. In order to customize our this search text field and segment. So I can name it as segment controller, or else window. Let's name window controller, and which is of language Swift, and clicking next and create. You can see a window controller.so file inside this. Let's head over back to the main.storyboard. What I'm trying to do is I'm going to click this part window controller and search here for the subclass in order to add our window controller. I'm just clicking enter. This is the file of class which we created now. So I have made the custom class with a window controller.so file. And next is what I'm trying to do is let's head over to this section for an assistant editor, and we'll make some space inside this. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to click this custom view and go to this texture segment square, which is for a segment. I need to create an IB outlet for that. So just click and drag it over here, and I can name it as segment controller with a type of NS segment control. Click connect, and let's make some space. And next is for a text field, and click that and drag it over here for IB outlet, and let's name it as URL text field, and which is of NS text field type. Alright, let's make this window controller space. Yeah, we can remove this code which is for window did load. If I'm going back to this main.storyboard, and if I click on this window and search for a title which is for the window, and if I can name it as browser app. So we will try to run this and check what we have done so far. Before that, we will go back to this browser app for signing capabilities and check whether we have all the signing capabilities enabled. Alright, so we will go and run and check what we have done. Yeah, inside this is the browser app which we named, and we have the custom view and custom view for the text field as well. here. Now if I want to remove this title from the window, I can just remove by typing here inside the window to load, say window dot text window dot title visibility, and can name it as dots hidden. And suppose if I run after this, we can find this window with a title name as disabled. Look, it's pretty nice. So we will work from here. We will go back to this main.storyboard. We'll stop playing it, and we'll come back to this vController section. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to add an object which is for a web view. So let's say wk web view, and dragging it over here. And let's make much space inside this, and I'm putting some constraints which is for top, right, left and bottom of 0, all 4 constraints, and add these constraints. And this is of subclass of viewController, which is already inherited from target. Let's head over to the assistant editor. Let's make some space. I'm going to create an IB outlet for this web view. So inside this, I'm going to import a web view, WebKit, all right? And then I'm going to click this web view and press Ctrl and drag it over here. I can name it as web view with the type of WK web view, and it's of strong out connection. All right, and I'm going back to this vcontroller.zip file, and we need some pieces of code here in order to initialize our browser app. Let's start doing it. First of all, I'm going to initialize a navigation delegate inside our class. So go near to NSViewController, put a comma, and look for a WK navigation delegate. I can find here, and inside this view to load, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to initialize this delegate method for our web view. So web view dot navigation delegate will be of kind self, and then I'm going to write an class which is for a function which is for a WK web view in order to did commit, which means when the user search for a string, and this delegate gonna call and check whether is there any URL inside this text field. That's what it's going to do. So let's say that did commit WK function code, and inside this I'm going to write, let's say, current URL will be equal to the web view dot URL dot absolute string, and which will be of, it can be even empty, so I'm using this. And then I'm going to call a godlet, and let's say window controller will be equal to the view dot window dot window controller as window controller which we created, and else return if Xcode couldn't find this window controller which we created, then it will go for return. This can help avoid the crash. And let's say let text field will be equal to window controller dot URL text field, and then at last text field dot string value will be equal to current URL. So what exactly here happens is the current URL of the string it will check, and the text which we enter inside our window controller, which we use the URL text field, and if there is any text or string, it gonna check and return this as current URL for did commit. And then what I'm trying to do is we need to put some IB actions which is required for to detect when the text field is pressed, and also when the navigation button is clicked. So in order to do that, what I'm trying to do is iterate IB action, and I'm going to write a function which is for action required. So IB action function did enter key tapped, and it's of sender of kind let's say of sender, it's for NS text field, and we're going to write what happens, what we need to do inside this. So let's say let URL string will be equal to sender dot string value. This is a string value which we enter inside a text field, and let's say that got let, I'm going to get a URL from here. So got let URL will be equal to URL of string, and that string will be of this URL which we initialize there, URL string. And then if it's not, let's say else return, and then let URL request will be of equal to URL request of kind URL, and that URL is going to be the URL which we initialize in the godlet. And then what WebView need to do is WebView dot load, which is of kind request URL request. Yes. Okay, this is the right one. Yeah, this is the same. Okay, then I'm going to go for an IB action which is required for navigation, which we press forward and backward. So let's say IB action, and func did navigation button tapped, and it's of kind, let's say center, and it will be NS segmented control. Press enter. I'll open this. Let's make some space. Alright, and then what I'm trying to do is if center dot selected segment, we have initialized two segments which is for 0 and 1. So if it is 0, what it's trying to do is WebView dot go back. Actually, it's a default function which is given by Apple itself in order to get in WebView so that we can go forward and back. So next is WebView else condition we will need is it will go to the segment 1. So let's say go forward. This is the function with navigation property initialized from Apple, so you don't need to worry about this. This is for navigation, go forward and backward. Okay, and then what I'm trying to do next is I think we have done with the coding section. I'm going to this main.storyboard, and inside this view controller click this section, And inside this window controller, you can find the toolbar section, which is customized view and all the stuffs which we did before. Now inside my toolbar, I have the custom view for text field and the segment. So I'm just opening it right and click on the segment controller, which is for a segment. And what I'm trying to do is click, press Ctrl and go to this first responder and check for the did navigation button tapped. Press enter. That's it. And then for URL text field or the same, I'm press Ctrl and to go to this first responder and select check for did enter key pressed. Press enter. Alright, then I have done with this. Let's move back to info.plist. So here what I'm trying to do is I'm going to enable a app transport security settings. So let's say app transport security settings, and then inside this allow the arbitrary loads. Allow arbitrary loads, and here what I'm trying to do is I'm going to allow this to yes. So whatever URL we type in there, it's gonna search for the string. We are allowing actually the app transport security, and let's run and check what we have done so far, and we'll make some changes according to that. So my app is running. Here we can see the window will be open from the bottom. Here we go, the browser app, and I have here the navigations and have the URL search as well. So I'm going to type https / and typing www.google.com and pressing enter, and nothing happens. So the reason is I'm just stopping it. The reason is you need to go back to the sign-in capabilities near to the general section. Unlike iOS apps, macOS needs some sandbox capability to be checked in order to work that. So inside our app sandbox, I have here network, and you need to check this outgoing connections client. Alright, we have checked this one. Now we will run and check. Let's run it. Will succeed. Alright, and then first let's say https. I'm typing there inside the string. Let's say www.google.com and pressing enter. Here we go. I have here Google, and suppose if I want to, let's try with another browser, another URL, sorry. So www.apple.com, I'm pressing enter. So I have here this Apple website loaded. Alright, and again let's try with some other pages. Let's say Mac, I'm clicking the Mac. Alright, and let's move to iPad. Alright, and let's go to the iPhone tab. Okay, and we will check with this navigation whether it's working with the backend forward. So I'm clicking back, went to the iPad. If I go front, it should be going to the iPhone section. Let's go back and back. Yeah, and it's similarly like like a Safari. We made an app for macOS. Inside this you have this Safari with an app icon. So inside this our app we didn't made a app icon yet. So in order to do that, let's go back to this assets for file and app icon. So I have in my system with an app icon set ready. So I'll be putting this app icon with my video description. You can just download it in my video description. I have provided a link. So you can just download it and drop it over inside this app icon. Sorry, it should be going inside. Yeah, inside this I have here, let's say, need to check that whether this Mac all is checked, and let's head back to this. And inside this 512 cross 512, I'm dropping this icon over here. All right, and then we will run and check now. So build to succeed, I have here my browser app. So we will check here the app icon. Yeah, we have set this app icon. So on, like, you can check with the Safari. This is a browser with Safari, with the Safari icon run by Apple itself, and we have made our own browser app with an app icon, and we can go for searching the URLs and all these stuffs inside that. So that's all in this video. This is fifth episode of macOS development course. If you have watched all 5 episodes, then we have completed almost 3 hours of macOS development. As I said, there is a link in my video description to register with us to provide you level 1 course completion certificate for macOS. So we provide after a small 1-hour test assignment. So stay tuned for the next level of macOS and iOS development course. Thank you for watching.